Should we go to this meeting?
Yeah. Let me just get a snack first.
Snack? I brought a snack.
Oh, that's okay. I'm good.
Oh, no. I got this. Told you I brought a snack.
There's a better way to eat pickles on the go. Sucker Punch, the snack with a snap.
Can make a career and start to build their profile. Guys, I'm so glad that you joined us once again. Max, I'll start with you. Give us a couple of things that you look for in these drivers, especially with your experience coming out of Prodigy Week Part 1.
First of all, great to be back here at Prodigy. It was an amazing experience last year, so it was an easy call to come back. And obviously, it's not easy to pick people without seeing on-track performance. You know, but I felt that one of the great way to pick a candidate would be, you know, definitely his personality, the way that he presents himself in the video, in terms of being as real as possible, and at the same time, we looked at iRacing rating, and as well a little bit of who you are on your Instagram, and I personally did some, you know, personal research to try to dig a little deeper into the personality of each of these guys and really see, you know, their deserving abilities.
And same question to you as well, Random. I mean, I feel like we've learned a lot as we built through the Prodigy Racing League. We've seen a lot of drivers have, you know, fought across the different simulators as well. How do you look at that potential for drivers to jump around the sim racing world?
First of all, thank you very much for having me again this year. As for the question, I come from a different perspective. I don't have real life experience as Max does, so I try to see what the driver is in terms of, in this case of iRacing, try to figure out how fast he can be and what's the potential out there. Most of these drivers that we've seen as in the iRacing finalists, they would deserve one way or the other to be in the car, and it's incredibly difficult to sort all of them and to figure out which ones should be on the forefront and receiving the ticket. I also try to figure out through the information that we've got is the way that they approach the finals, and also what type of sim experience or racing experience, that could be something that would be a benefit for everyone.
We're only around 30 days as well from heading to Prodigy Week Part 2. If you're wondering what we're talking about, a 3-day extravaganza to really test the drivers, not just about racing cars, mentally, physically as well. Let's learn a little bit more about this life-changing experience.
You look at the number of participants who had a shot at this, who wanted to be one of 12 of 60-something thousand. I mean, that's impressive in and of itself. What a diverse group of drivers, what a diverse group of participants. Just really cool. They should all be very, very proud.
Players around 4 platforms. I mean, I'm lucky to be here.
We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. Hickory, dog, giving them to determine. Right in the storm of focus on rainbow connections like Kermit. The water on my shoulders, it was a burden. Now I don't notice it ever concerning. Everything shifting, doing it different. I'm floating, I'm drifting. Shout out the slums, round the world we uplifted. Doing it big. We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. We about to change the game. We out here.
Every one of them deserves to be there, celebrating the fact that they were here and a part of this very first ever Prodigy Week for Racing Prodigy, and what a 3 days it was.
And here we go, they're gonna spray it, and let's see if they've learned how to spray the champagne.
And as I mentioned, a life-changing experience. One that will see us build to the Prodigy Draft later on in 2024, and hopefully again, all building to the Prodigy Racing League later on this year. Plenty of excitement for these drivers, and 13 finalists have made our way to our selection show today. The top 25 in the Prodigy Racing League Spec MX-5 Golden Ticket Series on iRacing powered by Sucker Punch were invited to submit a 60-second video resume. The opportunity for that then to be judged and for the likes of Max Papis to go off and do some more research on you. But without further ado, let's walk you through the 13 finalists here today. Introducing first, out of California, Thomas Bellerman, one of 5 drivers that was tied at the top of the point standings. He's got plenty of sim experience, also with some racing experience as well. He was very, very fast in our iRacing competitions. From Thomas Bellerman, it's to Aviv Cohen from Israel, and one of 2 drivers from Israel as well, and brings with him relatively little sim racing experience. Has only been doing this for about the last year. Does have some experience in the cars, doing time attacks as well, and so brings a little bit of an interesting background in comparison to maybe someone like Thomas Bellerman with 4 or 5 years of experience. Another one of our drivers, though, from Israel is Gal Adrian Cohen, and 94th in the point standings. But again, it just goes to show the judges are looking for more than just the results there in the sim. He was a driver that's only got about 3 months of sim racing experience, does about 20 hours of it per week, and slowly but surely continues to build his skill set. And from an inexperienced driver, we move to a very experienced driver, Dakota Fripp, who was a former member of the Vendaval sim racing team that's won many an iRacing top split special event. 16th in the point standings. Don't think we saw the best of him in the finals that we saw last weekend. A very consistent driver that's also done some karting, done some Formula SAE, and carries that background into his racing as well. Next candidate is Camden Hibbett, and one of our other drivers tied at the top of the point standings, but a driver that carries with him that Spec MX-5 experience, and we saw that on display in that iRacing competition. One thing that he says over the last year that he's been focusing on to build his racing experience and his performance is working with a nutritionist, not just on diet, but things like hydration strategies as well to try and take it to the next level. Next up, it's Jordan Johnson out of Ohio, the 25-year-old, 22nd in the point standing, has been sim racing for more than 5 years, has been doing karting for now 3 years as a privateer. Got the chance to go and do a Skip Barber Racing School experience as well. One of those things that these drivers in the sim world always go and then talk about how their skills go and translate. Roope Kirkapa is our next driver from Finland, and again, tied for first in the point standings. We saw so much strong competition, and Roope was flying as well in our relative finals. He's been doing a lot of things around the motorsports world, but the thing that really caught my eye was the karting club that he's a part of actually allows them to do physical exercise. So that's very interesting, exciting as well. So really cool to see. From Roope Kirkapa, it's Cameron Martineau, who races in the ST Esports team, Samantha Tan's racing team, 37th in points. I've seen him across the simulators as well, and always has a big smile on his face. Does have plenty of karting experience as well, and has been doing some events in the Porsche Club of America. Our next candidate is Will Redford out of the United Kingdom. Again, 5 drivers tied for first in the point standing, so you often look at what experience they have. He's got a Motorsports UK national license, has had his opportunity to go and do some real racing, but never often the chance to really build on that, and this is his chance to get to Prodigy Week and show us what he can do in that radical SR1. Next up is Nicholas Risaputo. He races 4 to 5 times a year in the SCCA. You can see him there with a big smile on his face. 26 years young, only been sim racing for a year or two as well, and one of those drivers that I think has been getting more up to speed along with us in our racing Prodigy journey. 3 more drivers on our list. The next up is Andreas Prato, the 37-year-old from Concord, California. Says he does weight training about 4 times a week, all in preparation to go out and race and to get ready to go racing. He's raced in international karting championships, sports car racing in his native Colombia, and even done some Spec Miata in the US. Plenty of experience, and we saw his speed as well on the sim. Emil Schultz out of Marietta, Georgia, the 19-year-old who's been racing in the sim world for 5 years. He's karting, though, for even longer than that. So has started doing some autocross and some time trials, and tied for 61st in the point standings. Our penultimate candidate here today. And last but not least, the 13th of our finalists, it's Brandon Walker, the 24-year-old from Denver, Colorado. Been racing for around 3 years at this point. Has plenty of experience around club level racing, karting racing in his native Colorado, and has had the opportunity to shadow some big teams and has gained the knowledge and the experience that comes from situations like that. 13 drivers sit in front of us now. There's a look at their faces as they wait to find their fates. Waves, thumbs being pointed up in the air by a couple of them. At this time as well, I'm delighted to be able to announce that we are going to narrow the field even further down to 6 finalists. 4 passes will be awarded, and those 2 remaining drivers will be reserve drivers if the winner, for whatever reason, cannot attend Prodigy Week. Without further ado, though, let's go and find out these 6 finalists. Let's check out the submission video for finalist number 1.
Hi guys, my name's Will Redford. I'm 19 from the UK, and it's my dream to be a professional racing driver. I started my motorsport career sim racing from the influence of my dad, who bought me my first iRacing subscription during the first COVID lockdown. From there, I quickly worked my way up the ranks and ended up getting the opportunity to jump into a real race car in the Junior Saloon Car Championship here in the UK. From there, I made my way up to the Multec Sports Civic Cup, a TCR UK feeder series where I've taken wins, podiums and lap records. I've taught myself the ins and outs of the motorsport world, down to sponsorship deals, business relationships, race car mechanics as I work as a mechanic myself, and I race completely on sponsorship money, which I worked incredibly hard to raise over the past few years to go racing and chase my dream. I even have a job as a driver coach at Alton Park, which is my local racetrack. I'm looking for my big break on a level playing field, and I believe that Racing Prodigy is that chance, and I want to show you guys what I've got. Thank you very much.
So there he is, the 19-year-old Will Redford from Warrington, the United Kingdom. Max, I'll ask you, why did you think that Will was worthy of being one of our 6 finalists here today?
I love your enthusiasm. I love the commitment and how you presented yourself both on the video and your Instagram. You definitely no bullshit, straight to the point, and that's what I like.
And there you go, the social media research paying off as well. Let's go though and find out a little bit more about finalist number 2.
Hi, my name is Roope Kurkipää. I'm an 18-year-old student and racing driver from Finland. Here in the far north, we don't have any professional racing series, yet the level of amateur drivers is really high. If you want to make a living out of racing, you'll never do it in Finland. You must go to international races in Europe, and racing there is extremely expensive, as is traveling. So it is almost impossible to build a career as a Finnish driver without a huge budget. That is why I started to seek for opportunities in sim racing. It is the only way for me to become a professional racing driver, and now Racing Prodigy has given the chance to make my dreams come true. I know I would be the perfect Prodigy for you because of my comprehensive real-world experience and capability to still improve as a young racing star. Hope to see you at Prodigy Week.
There is a driver that I'm sure is staying up a little bit later in the evening. I'm sure he's pretty excited as well. Random, talk to me about though why Roope stood out to you.
Oh, he was one of the first to stood up to me. He is incredibly fast. I like the way he immerses himself in sim racing, and part of it is also he kind of reminds me of Valtteri Bottas.
It's always a good thing to be reminded of. A very, very fast Finnish driver. And of course, so many flying Finns in the sim world. It'd be really cool to see what he could do in what is an international flair at Prodigy Week. Let's find out, though, a little bit more about finalist number 3.
It has been my dream to become a professional race car driver since driving my first quarter midget at 5 years old. In addition to working hard on the track in my move to full-size sports cars, I've networked at PRI and spent countless hours on outreach to potential sponsors. All of this has led me to 2 straight nominations to the Mazda Motorsports Spec MX-5 shootout, where I was named as a 1-year scholarship recipient for the 2024 race season. As an example of my extreme work ethic, I've maintained straight A's in school over the last 4 years. To push myself to be the best driver I can be, I've made time on the sim, increasing those efforts for several PRL iRacing tournaments where I made the semifinals or finals in each competition I've entered. While I understand that the PRL is about skill and not simply the bank account, I understand it includes providing value to brands, work ethic, communication skills, and much more. I was born to be a race car driver, and I will continue to put forth the efforts necessary to help bring my dream to reality. Thank you for providing this opportunity to open motorsports to all.
And as mentioned, that Spec MX-5 experience, it was on display when we saw him in the iRacing tournament this past weekend. But, you know, Max, what do you look at Camden when you see a young driver who's really trying to make the effort in the real world, but using the sim as a platform as well?
I mean, Camden, you know, it was great to see your commitment. You know, obviously your age, it's an important factor. You have a lot of years to come. And, you know, I think that, you know, you have a great opportunity, a great feedback. You know, I think that if you relax a little bit and you become to be a little bit more your age, I think it will really help you some as well. You know, because you can see from your experience how a precise and committed driver you are. So I think that if you show the other side as well, it's something that might be beneficial in the future. But, congratulations, because I see the effort that you put in there is amazing.
You say effort. I couldn't get A's in school. I also couldn't race a race car. So he's beating me on both of those tracks already. So that's already 3 of our finalists talked about, though. Let's go and learn more about finalist number 4.
Hi, my name is Jordan Johnson. I'm a 25-year-old sim driver with Apex Racing Academy and Driver 61 instructor, and I'm your newest Prodigy. Based out of Aurora, Ohio, I have about 7 to 8 years of experience, and I'm different from other drivers, having competed professionally in multiple different sims. I've also competed professionally in FPS esports, gaining experience working with teams, partners, sponsors, and media that no other sim driver can compete with. Diagnosed with Asperger's and part of the LGBT community, I'm the perfect ambassador for neurodivergent individuals in the LGBT community and racing and beyond. I've already started my Eat a Real journey, competing the Skip Barber Formula iRacing series, winning a 3-day racing school that earned me my SCCA novice license. I've also qualified for the 2022 American eCart National Championship weekend, finishing 11th of 63. I was running an LO206 as a privateer to keep my skills sharp. As of this year, I've already managed to win second split overall in iRacing's Daytona 24 Hours, as well as the Roush Performance Pro Series, and I'm more than hungry to ever to carry this momentum and success into the real world of professional racing if you'll support me.
And there was lots of support in our YouTube chat as soon as Jordan Johnson went on screen. He's got the trophy in his hand as well. Random, what stood out to you other than the big smile on his face?
When I look at Jordan, I see a lot of the stories behind sim racing, because not all of us will have the opportunity to do a jump, and the potential is there to become probably a professional driver or, a pro-am or something like that. And Jordan, with his experience, he is basically the story of sim racing. We just need opportunities. That's why we chose him.
And that, again, is all about what Racing Prodigy is about, those opportunities on the E2Real pipeline. 2 more finalists. Let's learn a little bit more about our penultimate finalist.
Hi, I'm Thomas Bellman, and my passion for the sport of racing started when I was very little. I began sim racing when I was 14, when I received my first pedals and wheels from my parents and was instantly hooked. I began grinding and improving my craft on ACC every night and became one of the top players. However, though, that didn't stop me from staying diligent in school, taking multiple APs, honors, and becoming an underclassmen leader. However, last year, I took a brave decision to defer my enrollment for 1 year from college in order to pursue this lifelong dream of mine. I began grinding in the gym every week, obtained my first job to buy my first PC and monitor, and started competing on iRacing. I instantly began challenging multiple of the top competitors and also set 2 world records in the space of 6 months. On top of this, I began competing in Spec Miata and received 2 second-place finishes in only my 3rd weekend. I never came from a racing background, but that didn't stop me from staying determined, hardworking, and passionate about achieving this lifelong dream of mine. I believe I possess the skill sets of becoming a race car driver, and Racing Prodigy may just be the thing for me. Thank you for your consideration.
And clearly someone that's willing to do what it takes to make those progressions, those steps up, Max. When you look at Thomas, what do you see in a driver that's clearly willing to make sacrifices on his journey to being a race driver?
Thomas, first of all, congrats. I am extremely impressed from your speed. That is what it takes to be a racer. And as well, your level of commitment and you being sincere in your approach. What I really liked is that you were vulnerable. You allowed yourself to say what your strengths and your weaknesses. And to me, that is a big sign of someone who has a tremendous amount of inner confidence. So, congrats.
And he's got some pretty sweet posters behind him as well. I think many of us would like a display like that. 1 more finalist. Let's learn about our final of the 6 finalists.
Hey, Racing Prodigy. Nicholas Riceputo here. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing for sim racers. I think it's going to be a big success for you guys, and I'm just looking forward to see you guys have down the pipe. But I think I'd be a good fit for Prodigy Week because I have a little bit of everything. I have a sim racing background along with a little bit of a real-life racing background. I just recently won the Full Send Sims iRacing Esports Spec Miata Championship. I was the champion. And then I also just won my first real life race. I had an opportunity in a Spec Racer Ford, and I ended up winning over a former national champion by 17 seconds. But at the moment, currently, I do not have the budget to race full time. I could race probably 4 to 5 times a year. So I'd like to get out there with you guys and have the opportunity to win a contract. But thank you so much for what you guys do.
And so our sixth and final finalist, Nicholas Rice-Puto, joins us from the car. Random, I think he was another one of the drivers in many ways that, showed us the evolution of sim racing. He's not got too many years in the sim racing world. What did you look at him, though? You talked about Jordan Johnson talking about those stories in sim racing. Is it a similar sort of thing with Nicholas Rice-Puto?
Yes, but from the other way around. It's very difficult to not like Nicholas. He has incredible enthusiasm, and he's there saying, I'm doing all my best. He doesn't have a lot of experience in sim racing, and his thing is that he is fast, and he's driving on a shoestring of a budget of real racing. This is something that requires immense drive to do. It is not easy at all. And for that, I think we saw all of it. We saw that he has great potential, and that's why we chose him.
So with that, 6 finalists have now been winded down. And so, Max and Random, I guess I've got to kind of ask you as well. All of these finalists were very, very deserving. Getting down to the 6 must have been hard enough. How hard was it to get down to the Prodigy Pass winners here today with the level that you've seen across the Search Selection Committee shows?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, guys, I want to tell to everyone that participated and everyone that arrived at this level, just be very proud. Unfortunately, racing is tough. There is only one winner. But that does not mean that you guys have not won something. And I feel that it was extremely difficult personally on the human side because I looked at each of you guys like my kid, and I spent a lot of time being able to look at every detail because you deserve my utmost attention and our utmost attention, because maybe that 60-second video will be the only things you guys have to show. So it was very tough, but at the same time, I felt that with Random, we shared a little bit the mix between what is good about racing, what is good about sim, and kind of find the extra edge, right? What do you think, Random?
It's exactly that. Getting to the 6 was hard enough, but getting the assortment of the 6 was a little more difficult than I was expecting. We share a lot of ideas in what should be the choices, or what should be the choices, even though we come from very different places. And the human side is incredibly difficult to judge in racing overall, because the human side is often forgotten in all of these stories, because generally it's either just about overall pace or something like that, and the stories are kind of forgotten. And we took everything that we could with all the little information that we have to try to see what are the best matches, and that maybe could have a future for those are chosen.
Yeah, and Random, I want to tell you, I was extremely pleased to do this with you. You really open up a different perspective for me, and what you brought was really refreshing. So I'm very grateful that you have done this. Thank you so much.
And likewise, it's it's always wonderful to speak with you, because for me you're a legend. So it's an extreme privilege that I have. Thank you so much.
And we have some of the best coaches and judges that help us here at Racing Prodigy. So thank you so much for everyone that supports us on our journey. But we've whittled it down to the 6. It's finally time to announce the first of 4 Prodigy Pass winners. Heading to the Atlanta Motorsports Park to be part of Prodigy Week Part 2. Congratulations to Jordan Johnson, winner of the Prodigy Pass. Jordan, tell us what this means to you. You're going to go to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. You're going to be part of Prodigy Week, and you have a chance at a real-world racing contract.
I can't explain really what it does. just hearing myself get pulled in here, I could just feel my heartbeat go way faster. It's so nice to be here, and the opportunity is fantastic. I mean, I fought every day of my life for the past 3 years to try to get into a car and iRacing in every competition that I've seen. So just to even have the opportunity to come down is amazing. Of course, I need to thank everyone that's helped me along the way as well. Sucker Punch, Mazda, and Racing Prodigy, you guys all for putting this on. Almost in tears as is, and of course my team, they've done everything for me to put me where I am as well. And I want to really shout out Lewis Balicki, who is really the only reason I was in this competition to start with. He's pushed me the whole way, and I couldn't do it without anyone else that's been behind me.
Random, you had some thoughts about his story. Do you have a question for our winner, Jordan Johnson?
Okay, when can you teach me? I'll send you my calendar. I got everything set up for coaching already, so I'll expect an email here in the near future. Up to hear good stuff from you, man. Thank you very much.
One more question, and we'll let you go and celebrate this. You're going to be put through the ringer at Prodigy Week. You're going to have a pro coach. You'll be tested by PitFit, media training, skid pad. There'll be karting, autocross, and then you'll get to finally sit in the Radical SR1. What are you looking forward to the most? I know it's probably getting into the race car.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the easiest ones to say, is jumping into the race car for the first time. But just embracing the experience as a whole, seeing where I stand against other drivers in the real world. I've always felt like I've performed better in real life than in the sim. So I'm unbelievably excited to be able to get into the real car and maybe even just see where my fitness is at. I mean, I've played soccer my whole life and it's kept my fitness up. So I'll see where it puts me against everyone else once we get to the fitness trials, maybe.
Congratulations, Jordan. We'll see you in just over a month's time at the Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Thank you,
Jordan.
And, well, he couldn't quite believe it, I think, initially. There are the remaining 5 finalists waiting to find out who is next. Remember, 2 of these drivers will be reserves. They may still end up making the trip to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. Just ask Jan van der Heide what you need to do. Always be ready, but let's not keep them waiting any longer. The winner of the second Prodigy Pass here in our Prodigy Search Selection Show out of the iRacing Mazda Spec MX-5 Golden Ticket Series is Will Redford. Will, congratulations. You are the winner of the second Prodigy Pass. You're going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. You got a smile on this face. What does this mean to you?
Honestly, I mean, I think most people will say that it means the world to them, and that is completely true for me. I mean, I've worked incredibly hard over the past few years to find the money to go racing, to chase this dream. I've got a job as a mechanic. I've got a job at Alton Park as a driver coach. And I'm actually at Brands Hatch right now for my first race weekend of the year. And this opportunity to me just means that all my hard work is finally paying off, and all the money that's been invested in me from sponsors and my family and the time that everyone's put into it, it all means it's worth something. And I want to send a massive thank you to Sucker Punch, Mazda, Racing Prodigy, and all my real life sponsors who've got me to this point.
Max, I know you probably can appreciate the situation Will is in, getting up the ladder on the road to a racing career. Do you have any questions for him as you get ready to see how he'll run at Prodigy Week Part 2?
Absolutely. Well, what made you become an instructor in Alton Park?
Honestly, it's more the career options really that made me chase it, but it's more just my love of racing and my love of teaching people. I found that when I'm racing at the track in real life, to help my teammates, get to the pace they need to be, we go through all the data together, and it's something that I really enjoy. And for me, I wanted to, chase a career in motorsport, and the coaching side was something that allowed me to do that without having to have the budget to go and race in the first place.
And Will,
time over there in Alton Park myself. I know the place really well, and best of luck. I think that you are a very deserving person, and be yourself. Be the best version of yourself. When you show up here in Atlanta, I'm looking forward to meet.
Thank you very much.
And Will, I was kind of going to ask you, we talked to Jordan, who won the first Prodigy Pass on the selection show, about what he was looking forward to most about being at Prodigy Week. I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. You have, experience of being an instructor. What's it going to be like for you to have people like Max Papis, Boris said, and so many other great coaches that you can now ask questions from and pick their brains?
Honestly, it's a completely different angle of things. I mean, I have coaches in real life. You know, I've worked with coaches in the past, even though I am a coach myself, and it's, you know, you get someone else's perspective, and it's really good to sort of help you understand maybe how to understand something that you're not quite sure on. And you know, everyone has their own opinions and everyone has their own way of doing things, and I think it's quite important to learn from what other people have to say and to be the best version of yourself.
Well, congratulations, Will. Well deserved. Can't wait to see how you run at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. We'll see you at Prodigy Week Part 2.
Thank you.
And so from the 6 finalists, we're now down to the 4. Rupe Kirkapa, Camden Hibbert, Thomas Bellarmine, and Nicholas Rice-Pudo. They've been waiting for quite a while, and I don't really want to keep them waiting too much longer. Without further ado, the winner of the 3rd Prodigy Pass here today, out of California, it's Thomas Bellarmine. And he can't quite believe it. Thomas, what does this mean to you? You're going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park. You're going to be there at Prodigy Week Part 2. Come on, how good does this feel?
I mean, I really don't know what to say. I'm actually really speechless right now, but I'm also just like extremely grateful for this opportunity. I mean, I'd obviously like to give a big thank you to Mazda, Sucker Punch, Racing Prodigy, and all the other people who've gone into making this possible for sim racers like us. You know, I don't come from a racing background, nor do I come from a family with a lot of money, so it's very difficult to get into motorsports, and getting an opportunity like this with all expenses paid is anything that a kid could dream of. So I'm absolutely thankful and very grateful for all that. And I'd also like to take this time also to really thank my parents for giving me this year off from college to just really find a way into motorsports. I recently got a job a couple months ago to start funding my real life racing at Spec, and I started seeing some good results with 2 podiums 3 weeks ago. So I think it started kind of bringing, you know, light into my my dream of becoming a professional race car driver one day. So I'm really just grateful for everything, and thank you so much for picking me for one of the Prodigy passes.
And Random, I'll come to you because I think, you know, we talk about sim racing stories, but this is one of those things that crosses over as well between how people push themselves. Do you have any questions for Thomas as he gets ready for Prodigy Week Part 2?
Yeah, why did you choose racing instead of college? I know this is gonna be this sounds probably cringy, but it's a great question to ask, because it's not something that a lot of young people would choose one over the other, because you choose a dream over something that could be more tangible.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big decision to make. I mean, like, every family, you know, education is the most important thing out there, and I totally agree with that. I just decided to take a year off because I do believe that I can become a professional race car driver, even if that means I have to sacrifice a year away from school. That being said, though, I am still committed, though, to Virginia Tech to study in fall, so I do have still a commitment to make, but I told myself that I really wanted a year to just spend that time to see if I can make something out of this, and hopefully, you know, try to become a professional race car driver whatever way I could. If that meant working, if that meant pushing myself on the sim, or if that meant even taking a year off of school.
What's the degree on?
It's gonna be mechanical engineering.
Oh, so you can join both.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Thomas, before we let you go and celebrate this as well, talk to us a little bit. You know, you've got this year off, spending time in the sim, honing your craft at the racetrack as well. One thing that stood out to me, your physical workout routine. Talk to the viewers about what you've been doing to get in shape to get behind the wheel of a race car.
Yeah, so I've always been a very big fan and big belief in what, you know, health is, and that nutritional aspect and the physical well-being of someone is extremely important, especially when it comes to becoming a professional race car driver. So I've been very consistent when it comes to through nutrition every day. I make sure I hit the gym around 6 days a week and then do about 5 days of cardio. That usually includes about 20 to 30 minutes of intense biking. And then I usually try to split up my days with 2 arm days, a chest day, a back day, and then usually maybe a leg day, and then sometimes kind of like just a full core all body workout just to kind of stay in shape. I do believe that it's a big aspect in that role of becoming a professional race car driver. And I'm just really, you know, a big belief in that kind of, you know, health aspect.
You're getting ready and prepared for the obsession with pit fit. We'll put it that way. Day one's going to be fun at Prodigy Week. And Thomas, I can't wait to see you and your smile there. Enjoy this feeling, and we'll see you at the Atlanta Motorsports Park on May the 13th.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thomas Bellerman, the winner of our penultimate Prodigy Pass, and it leaves us with just 3. Camden Hibbett, Rupa Kirkapa, and Nicholas Rice-Pudo. Don't forget, 2 of these drivers will still be on reserve, on standby, just in case anything happens. And we did have Jan van der Heide join us on very short notice back for Prodigy Week Part 1. The winner, though, of our final Prodigy Pass from the Prodigy Racing League, iRacing, Mazda, Spec MX-5 Golden Ticket Series is going to be the Finn Rupa Kirkapa. And that's almost a very Finnish reaction for us, a wry smile. Rupa, how excited do you feel right now? You're going to the Atlanta Motorsports Park on May the 13th. You get to drive a Radical SR1.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very excited. I thought already that it was going to be the same that last Sunday when I came second. Had the same feeling already. But yeah, very, very excited. I think it's going to be very, very, very awesome, and I'm very grateful that I got this opportunity. And of course, big thank you to Racing Prodigy and Sucker Punch and Mazda and everyone involved making this possible, and of course everyone who cheered and watched the race last Sunday. It was awesome to see so many supporters in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, and Max, I guess, Rupa's got plenty of experience in some sort of sports car sort of racing, but he'll be stepping into a downforce machine for the very first time. How's that going to be for him as he gets up to speed with a Radical SR1?
I believe that if you're a racer, you can jump into anything and show what you're good at. We both, me and Random, we saw a lot of great in you, good attitude, good presentation. That inner ability of raising above a tough situation, because it looked like you tried a lot of times and things didn't really work your way, but you never give up. And my question to you is like, what are those glasses doing that you have them on and sometimes you have them off in different pictures?
The glasses. Yeah, I usually wear glasses, but when I'm racing real cars, I use those that help me, the contact lenses.
Yeah.
So
I thought you wanted to be a mix between Superman and that's why.
Rupa, I've got to ask, you're 18 years young, you've been sim racing for quite a while. Is this going to be your first trip to America when you fly out to the Atlanta Motorsports Park?
No, actually, I've been to the USA I think 4 times actually, but I've never raced there, and it's been quite many years since the last visit.
It's going to be exciting. May the 13th is not far away. Congratulations, Rupa. I'm sure you'll go off and celebrate this one, and we'll see you at the Atlanta Motorsports Park, ready to shine. Congratulations on winning your Prodigy Pass.
Thank you.
So that's 4 Prodigy Passes handed out here in our Prodigy Search Selection Show. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget, we do this again on Saturday, here live on Racing Prodigy's YouTube channel with both the Race Room and the Street Kart Racing selection shows as well. So that will all kick off at around 1 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you're here on our YouTube channel for all of that. Before we say goodbye, though, some final thoughts, some closing thoughts from both Max and Random. Max, you're of course going to be there at the Atlanta Motorsports Park, coaching some of these drivers through Prodigy Week Part 2. You've seen a lot of the experience on the sim now. Are you looking a little bit differently at these drivers after how the first week went? Because I think the one thing that we kind of talked about a lot in the paddock was we only had 2 spins. The drivers got up to speed pretty quickly. Do you have higher expectations for them this time around?
Usually when I approach something, I don't really have any level of expectation. But after, the first week of Prodigy, I was extremely impressed. So I just want to tell all the guys that they've been selected, just be yourself. try to be the best version of yourself, no matter if you are funny, serious, whatever you are. And of course, the expectations are gonna be high because there is a lot of opportunities out there, and we want to select the best of the best. We want to make sure that whoever goes forward do represent sim racing at the best of his ability, and this has to be it has to be a great ambassador for all the other that they were not selected. So bring the A game, and looking forward to see you.
And Random, from your perspective as well, I mean, I think you carry, I always watch your videos, I love some of your takes and your perspective. I've loved it as well here today. What are you going to be looking at this time around in terms of Prodigy draft as well, right? Let's look to the future. These drivers are there competing for the chance to get a real-world professional racing contract, something, let's be honest, you and I probably dreamed about a couple of years ago.
Yes, I would, but I'm very aware of my limited skills, so I can't really be there. And like Max, unfortunately, I won't be able to see them. I don't really have many expectations because it's off my hands now. They have to be their best version. They have to fight for it. And I know the sim is one thing. Some people may not do the crossover correctly. That is totally okay. It is part of the experience. Go there, try to do your best. Go over that, and maybe you'll get somewhere in racing.
I think the thing is, Max has said it, go out there and be yourself. That is what Prodigy Week is meant to be about, finding out about yourself, getting to grips with the car, and getting up to speed. I want to thank everyone that's joined us here today. I want to thank our two judges, Max Papis and Random CallSign, and everyone that supports us on Racing Prodigy's journey. Sucker Punch, Mazda, Toyo Tires, SimLab and Grid, Aztec Sim Sport. We can't do it without their support, and I can't wait till this Saturday when we hand out even more Prodigy passes. 13 drivers are now confirmed and locked in on May the 13th to land there for Prodigy Week Part 2. It's going to be exciting. For now, so long and goodbye, and congratulations to our worthy Prodigy Pass winners.
Should we go to this meeting?
Yeah. Let me just get a snack first.
Snack? I brought a snack.
Oh, that's okay. I'm good.
I don't know. I got this. Told you I brought a snack.
There's a better way to eat pickles on the go. Sucker Punch, the snack with a snap.